Our movie opens in Somalia. We meet a covert agent named Chul, a South Korean spy currently undercover there to carry out an operation. From a distance, he watches his commander, Jin, and the rest of the team while he negotiates with a gang leader. Chul is supposed to hand over $1 million in exchange for releasing Korean hostages, but the boss suddenly changes his mind, demands more, and has his men ready their weapons. Chul plays it cool and doesn't refuse. He says he just needs a little time to get the additional money. In the middle of this tense standoff, his phone keeps buzzing. It's his wife, Maggie. After a few rings, the gang leader forces him to answer. Because she doesn't know what he really does, he tells her he's in a meeting and hangs up fast. She calls again, and this time the boss wants to answer himself. Chul decides that if diplomacy fails, he'll use force. He smashes the boss with a heavy blow and then fights through the rest of the men with brutal efficiency. Hearing the chaos, Jin realizes this mission won't end peacefully and orders an all-out assault. But Chul barely needs the help. He wipes out the gang on his own and rushes to assist Jin's team outside. Meanwhile, Maggie keeps calling, furious that he keeps hanging up, threatening to make his life miserable when he gets home. He tries to end the call quickly. Bullets are flying, and promises to explain later. She's still upset and goes to sit with his mother and the rest of the family. When she notices a pregnant relative, her face falls. Chul is always busy and traveling, and though they've been married over a year, they still haven't had a child. Elsewhere, at a Chinese military airfield, North Korea's deputy foreign minister boards a private jet with the Chinese minister and their security. As the plane enters South Korean airspace, an armed group locks on and fires a precision missile, obliterating the aircraft. That night, Chul, late and changing shirts in the car, urges Jin, who's driving, to hurry. It's his mother's 70th birthday, and being late will be a disaster. He finally arrives to a warm welcome. His mother is thrilled. The party starts, and Maggie, still angry about the calls, barely tolerates him. At the same time, South Korean intelligence receives word of the downed plane and dispatches a unit to the launch site, but the culprits have fled, leaving a time bomb that kills the responding team. Back at the party, Maggie needles Chul about their infertility. He thinks, rule 1 of negotiation, hold eye contact. But that doesn't work on Maggie, who snaps back and keeps scolding him. He tries to act like a normal husband, not a spy, but she presses, when will they have a baby? She's sick of his constant trips. The next day, South Korean authorities hear that Baek, the daughter of the North Korean minister who died in the explosion, has requested asylum in the South. Intelligence suspects she may know something about the terrorist attack. She's currently in Thailand, attending an energy conference. She's a physicist under heavy North Korean guard. With no time to waste, the agency moves fast. Orders come down. Chul has taken the day off, and Jin tries to cover for him. But the director barks that the country is on high alert, and he must report at once. Ironically, Chul is at a fertility clinic with Maggie. He agrees to go mostly to avoid her wrath. In the bathroom, an elderly woman slips in, leaves a juice bottle and papers, installs a device on his phone, and leaves. She's an operative. Jin is contacting him, and on the juice cap is a scribbled, urgent mission. The director explains that if they can't identify who brought down the plane, South Korea could be forced to give up nuclear arms entirely, especially since the missile was fired in their airspace. Chul is to fly to Thailand immediately, extract Baek, and return. He emerges to a hopeful Maggie, who asks him to come home early. He grimly tells her he has a 3-day work trip. She curses, storms out, refuses to be calmed, grabs a taxi, and heads to her job at the airport. Preparing for a flight, she nearly trips, but a handsome man named Ryan catches her. He flirts with her all the way onto the plane, which, as you've guessed, is heading to Thailand. In Bangkok, Chul and Jin focus on the mission. unaware of Maggie's presence. The director sends a video briefing. Beck isn't just any scientist, but a brilliant nuclear physicist who stood behind her father's nuclear program, which raises her value enormously. She's at a Bangkok hotel, and they must get her out at any cost. Chul and Jin arrive and trigger a plumbing emergency so Jin can enter as a repairman. He leaves Bayek a tool bag and steps out, then signals Chul to get ready, only for Chul to realize that Maggie is staying in the same hotel. He hides his face before she spots him and blows everything. Bayek follows Jin's instructions, fashions a rope, and rappels from her balcony to the floor below, where Chul should be waiting. But Chul gets stuck in an elevator with Maggie and her co-worker. He hides behind a newspaper, more afraid of his wife than of nuclear chaos, until he hears the friend suggest Maggie go out that night and meet a handsome stranger. He's stunned but can't respond. When the doors open, two armed thugs are waiting. Chul flings the newspaper, shoves Maggie and her friend back into the lift so they won't see his face, and takes the men down with swift surgical strikes. Unfortunately, other gang members snatch Bayek as soon as she lands. When Chul reaches her room, he finds his colleagues dead and Beck gone. North Korean security notices Bayek's delay and discovers she escaped via the balcony rope. We also learn Ryan is part of the hostile crew. He plans to use Maggie to get close to Chul, but for now, just wants Beck out amid the chaos. Chul gets into a vicious fight on a balcony, both men dangling over the void. He finally hurls the attacker down onto a car, killing him right in front of the stunned Maggie, who doesn't understand what's happening and doesn't realize that could have been her husband. In the confusion, Ryan cleverly slips away, pitting North and South Korean agents against each other. Jin and Chul report to the director. Apparently, another operation to extract Bayek was running at the same time, the CIA's, and no one knows who authorized it. Inside an intelligence facility, Bayek is interrogated by an American official. When she refuses to talk, he warns that everyone knows she sought asylum in the South, and that if she won't help, death awaits her here or elsewhere. The next day, Chul tails Maggie, calls to smooth things over, and asks where she is. She lies to needle him. This is the first time he's ever asked. The spy in him begins to wonder, could his wife be entangled in this conspiracy? He nearly collapses when Ryan appears out of nowhere, hands Maggie an ice cream, and she happily chats with him. When Chul raises his voice, she pretends the connection is bad and hangs up, then decides to spend the day with Ryan. Chul follows them to a restaurant, sees Ryan flirting, and realizes he's been watching Maggie since the flight. He snaps a photo and sends it to Jin to identify the man. The director, anxious, orders a search for both faces immediately. Jin says the woman isn't important. She's Chul's wife. So the director explodes. What is she doing with another man in Thailand? Chul nearly loses it when Ryan escorts a drunk Maggie to her room and shuts the door. He grabs a fire extinguisher, ready to burst in. But an elderly neighbor opens her door, and he restrains himself. Jin's team drags him away. They don't have time for this. Ryan, for his part, doesn't stay in the room. South Korean intelligence has assets sprinkled all over Bangkok. The director orders an assault on the CIA's covert site to extract Bayek by force. One of his aides has dug up Ryan's file. A Chinese American who has lived in Korea only 3 years. Squeaky clean on paper. Jin relays this to calm Chul. National security is counting on him. He can't go in distracted. Still, they drink together until they're drunk. Jin spirals into melodrama, crying that he's always cleaning up after Chul, and that if he loses his job, he can't even feed his daughter or pay her school fees. Chul reassures him. He has enough problems already. They set up in a van outside a Thai restaurant that fronts the CIA's underground facility. Both men put on glasses with hidden cameras and head in as if they work there. Through the feed, they see patrons from many countries. Chul freezes. Maggie is there with Ryan. Ryan notices Chul and signals 2 female operatives to slip behind Chul while he keeps him occupied. But when Ryan goes to the bathroom, Chul follows. Jin slips in next to steady him. Chul is torn. His wife might be in danger, yet he pushes on, spots the 2 women by the secure door, and, in a burst of speed, disarms them just as they open the gateway to the facility. He slips inside and confirms via the glasses that this is indeed the CIA site. A guard checks on the women, finds the door open, and confronts Chul. Chul kills him and then brawls with incoming reinforcements. His glasses fall. Now headquarters can't see. The restaurant erupts as someone lobs a gas canister to sow total chaos. Chul breaches the facility and frees Beck, but the place swarms with elite killers, so they switch to a backup plan. Jin keeps an eye on Maggie to make sure she isn't hurt amid the panic. When she accidentally knocks over a glass, gunfire flares again. Chul executes the plan. He tosses Beck out a window onto their sand-filled truck below. Then he hears Maggie is trapped inside and turns back for her. Ryan and his men mow down anyone in their way. He's frighteningly skilled. Just before Maggie is killed, Chul and Jin reach her, cover her face, and rush her out. They escape, and the team celebrates the partial success. That night, Chul still shadows Maggie. She assumes Ryan saved her at the restaurant, which stings after everything Chul did that day. Then Jin messages him. During the operation, he caught a glimpse of Maggie's belly. She's 1 month pregnant. Chul is overjoyed, but when he sees her drinking coffee, he calls and blurts, "Don't," to make it sound plausible. He claims he dreamed the coffee was poisoned. She argues as usual and hangs up. The next day, Chul returns to South Korea and learns Baek is meeting the Prime Minister, who was a friend of her late father and kept peace between the Koreas for a long time. Suddenly, intel on sleeper cells surfaces and arrests begin. When the Prime Minister greets Maggie, he pricks her with a poisoned needle. She collapses, apparently dead. It's revealed he's colluding with Western powers, seeking to control the Koreas by spreading chaos. But Baek had anticipated his trick. She wore a protective skin on her hand to neutralize the toxin. She exposes the Prime Minister's ties to a dangerous Western-led organization. Her father had sold them weapons, hoping to solve their financial crisis, but they betrayed and killed him. Their real goal is to push the countries into war by destroying major Korean companies, sparking public outrage, and seizing control piece by piece. Stock prices plunge, proving her right. Worse, a 6-party conference is scheduled in Seoul tomorrow. Any attack would be the final straw that ignites war. The director boasts that they have Chul to catch the mole, only to find Chul has slipped away. Jin reviews airport photos of Ryan and realizes Ryan knew Chul's real identity from the start, allowing him to track Chul's moves before he made them. And Ryan made the compromising phone call that exposed their assets. Ryan also steals another missile with a truck, promising his Western masters a step toward a devastating nuclear war. The next day, Chul meets Beck. She sees a baby photo and realizes he's going to be a father. She congratulates him and helps calm his nerves. Jin decides to deal with Maggie so Chul can focus. He brings her to the station and questions her about Thailand and Ryan. When she sees Ryan's photo, she admits she knows him, and they stun her by revealing he's a terrorist planning to destroy the world. Jin scolds her for flirting while married. Right then Ryan calls. They instruct her to meet him under surveillance. They fit her with a contact lens camera and a tiny transmitter disguised as an earring. Maggie, delighted by the accessories, heads out. But she's nervous, and it shows. Ryan proposes they go somewhere else, then drives his personal car like a maniac after spotting Jin's truck behind them. He shakes the tail and vanishes. He takes Maggie to his gang's hideout and calls Chul. "Bring Beck to a specified location, or your wife dies." Jin panics when he hears Ryan contacted Chul. He's afraid to call Chul, who might blame him for the abduction. Chul, furious, forces Bayek into his car at gunpoint, makes the guards back off, and speeds away. The director rips into Jin, who promises to fix it. Chul phones Jin. "Help me, they've taken my wife." And Jin feigns surprise to avoid being throttled. Chul is set on trading Beck. He can't sacrifice his wife. Jin promises to meet him and help. Maggie, meanwhile, doesn't understand why her perfect husband did all this. She keeps telling Ryan how kind and gentle Chul is. Ryan says Chul stole something from him, and he's taking it back. Jin then discovers Ryan has stolen a nuclear missile. He vows to the director to stop it at the right moment, especially after Maggie, listening in, relays that the six-party conference venue has been moved to Busan. Jin gets the meeting cancelled before disaster strikes. Maggie sees Ryan standing beside the missile and asks what he plans to do. We learn Ryan is a former North Korean agent who worked in America. In 2000, he tried to seek asylum in North Korea, was rejected, tried South Korea, also rejected, then went to Europe and became a top mercenary and nuclear arms broker. With a scientist like Bayek, he can practically field his own nuclear arsenal, which is why everyone wants custody of her. Chul and Bayek rendezvous with Jin, get final instructions, and are warned not to act rashly. The exchange happens. Chul and Ryan trade their hostages simultaneously. At the right instant, Jin triggers a small explosion, using the distraction so Bayek can drag Maggie away from the kill zone. A brutal firefight erupts. Jin fights to get Bayek and Maggie out alive, while Ryan's heavily armed men fire from every direction. Chul jumps in to shield his wife and begs her to be quiet. He'll explain everything later. They're still under fire. Not knowing his true skills, Maggie straps on a vest and says, "Stay behind me so you don't get hurt," then blindly blasts away with a rifle. Ryan and his men reel, but the missile is already armed and can't be stopped. Chul decides he has no choice and wades into the fray himself. Maggie watches, awestruck, finally suspecting he really is a spy. Ryan throws a flashbang, grabs both women, and heads for a helicopter. Chul sprints, leaps, and clings to the chopper unseen. Beck and Maggie hatch a plan to stop Chul from launching the missile. They'll grapple with him to knock the laptop from his hands. Beck snatches his weapon and aims it at him. Jin pulls his helicopter alongside to contain the situation. Ryan wrests the gun back from Beck but can't kill her. She's priceless. He goes to launch the missile, gloating that the game is over. Chul suddenly bursts in, and he and Ryan brawl savagely as Beck frantically works to divert the missile, and Maggie tries to help her husband. Maggie takes a hit and blacks out, but Beck manages to redirect the missile out to sea to avoid civilian casualties. Ryan is about to throw Chul from the helicopter to his death when a bullet tears through Ryan's back. Maggie fired the shot. Ryan tumbles out and dies. Before the helicopter is destroyed, they all jump into the ocean and are rescued. Chul tells Maggie she's going to be a mother, and the two are overjoyed. After all this, both Chul and Jin get raises, so Jin can stop lamenting his finances. Time passes, Maggie gives birth, and the director, Jin, and Bayek visit to congratulate the couple. By now everyone fully understands who Chul is and trusts his loyalty. And that's where the film ends. If you made it to the end, don't forget to like the video, drop a nice comment, and if you're new here, subscribe to catch all the upcoming recaps. Bye.